Trustee Albuck.
Here.
Or no, I'm sorry. You have to wait. Trustee Broccolino.
Here.
Trustee Albuck.
Here.
Trustee Gutierrez.
Here.
Porter. Trustee Kunkel.
Yes, here.
Trustee Bancole.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. If you would, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Have a motion to accept the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. No, no, never mind.
No.
We have any changes to the agenda? We need to add closed session. What's the numbers, Bernie?
Well, look at 12 is on the agenda. It's 2C1.
2C1? Executive session.
But we'll get to it. We'll get to the agenda.
All right.
Roll call. Trustee Albuck.
Here.
Trustee Gutierrez.
This is for acceptance of the
Agenda.
agenda?
Accept the
Yes.
agenda.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. May I have a first and second?
All motion.
Second.
Okay, we've added a closed session, 2C1.
Yes.
Anyone else? Please call the roll.
Trustee Albuck.
Yes.
Trustee Gutierrez.
Yes.
Trustee Porter.
Yes.
Trustee Kunkel.
Yes.
Trustee Bancole.
Yes.
And Trustee Broccolino.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. We have a presentation, proclamation for Juneteenth celebration event. On my behalf, her reporter read this at the event on Saturday. I will read it again tonight as a way of acknowledging Juneteenth and thanking those who attended and thanking her reporter for his leadership. Whereas President Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation on January 1st, 1863, declaring the slaves in the Confederate territory free, which led to the passing of the 13th Amendment, which formally abolished slavery in the United States of America. And whereas news regarding the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation was delayed, and it didn't reach authorities and African Americans in the South and Southwestern areas of the United States until June 19, 1865. And whereas on June 19 holds a special place in the significance and meaning to the African American community. And whereas Juneteenth is a combination of the words June and 19. And the occasion has been celebrated for over 150 years. And whereas Juneteenth is an opportunity to celebrate the accomplishments and contributions of the African Americans, of all African Americans. And whereas a Juneteenth celebration in the Village of Hanover Park will take place on Saturday, June 21st, 2025, at the Hanover Park Sports Complex, 1200 Sycamore, Hanover Park. Now therefore I, Rodney S. Craig, Mayor in the Village of Hanover Park, Illinois, do hereby proclaim Saturday, June 21st, 2025, as Juneteenth Celebration Day in the Village of Hanover Park, Illinois, and encourage all residents to become more aware of the significance of this celebration in African American history and in the heritage of our nation, attending the Juneteenth celebration hosted by the Hanover Park Sister Cities Committee on Saturday, June 21st, 2025 at 12 noon at the Sports Complex at Hanover Park. Signed by myself and Christy Merrill. And I had the benefit of a Metra employee who was present, took a video of the event somewhat, and I was able to view Herb Porter reading the proclamation, which, Herb, you did an exceptional job. Thank you very much in my absence. I think it's a great event, and it should be honored as such. Town hall session, anyone?
There is no one,
Well, Tom is here.
but he's not speaking.
He's in muted mode tonight. No one here for town hall session. Village President's report. I had a very good meeting down in Tampa representing mayors at the U.S. Conference of Mayors. Very enlightening. A lot of things are going on in the world, if you haven't noticed. The good discussion a lot on multiple areas, key components, and I'm not prepared at this time to really brief on what evolved, but certainly I will do that at the next meeting. I thought it was a good event down there on Wednesday with the mayor of Hoffman Estates, and it was good. The returning last night to a house with no air conditioning was the biggest challenge. But it's the new unit. It's nice to know a guy that does that for a business. So he's putting that in as I'm speaking. So Sherry's going to be very happy, and the dogs can return home. So there's a lot of things to report on. I'm taking the lead on the transit bill with the Mayor's Caucus, the 275 mayors. I've been working that issue. I believe I got that out tonight, and that's been a point of great concern for the Mayor's Caucus, the impacts to the municipality in the Northeast Illinois. So I'm really pleased with that. I'd like to move by unanimous vote items on the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Those are items 7A1 through 7A6.
Very good. Madam Clerk, if you would call the roll.
Trustee Gutierrez.
Yes.
Trustee Porter.
Yes.
Trustee Kunkel.
Yes.
Trustee Bancole.
Yes.
Trustee Broccolino.
Yes.
And Trustee Albuck.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. 7A7, move to approve warrant 6/23/2025 in the amount of $1,301,308.12.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Yes. Trustee Porter. Yes. Trustee Kunkel.
Yes.
Trustee Bancole.
Yes.
Trustee Broccolino.
Yes.
Trustee Albuck.
Yes.
Trustee Gutierrez.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. 7A8, move to approve warrant paid in advance 5/30/2025 through 6/13/2025 in the amount of $477,538.50.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Excuse me. Trustee Kunkel.
Yes.
Trustee Bancole.
Yes.
Trustee Broccolino.
Yes.
Trustee Albuck.
Yes.
Trustee Gutierrez.
Yes.
And Trustee Porter.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Village Manager's Report, Juliana.
There is included in your packet the monthly treasurer's report for May. If you have any questions, we may have to answer. I believe that first quarter was total estimate.
Any questions for Juliana? Hearing none. Village Clerk's Report,
No report.
thank you. Corporation Council Report, Burton,
No report, thank you.
thank you. Boy. Trustee Broccolino, report.
Just wanted to talk about the Northwest Conference that we went to. Where are my notes? We recognize the outstanding leadership of our mayor as his term as president came to an end. And we mark the swearing in of the new president, Donna Johnson, mayor of Libertyville. And the apiary event, we had a great turnout, over 120 residents attended. So,
All the time.
yeah. Yeah, sorry. We had 120 residents attended. They all showed a great level of community interest, and they learned about urban beekeeping, sustainability, and the important role pollinators play in our environment. And a big thank you to John Stell and Yasmin, who helped organize, and Public Works, who helped with the setup and takedown, and to all the residents who came up and supported it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Trustee Albeck.
Yes, Mayor, just a couple of things. First and foremost, I would like to thank my sponsor for this evening, Mr. Carl Bickford Esquire. I appreciate his support during the recent busy past couple of weeks. Further, I'd like to express appreciation for the mayor's proclamation on Juneteenth, and also highlight one aspect of Juneteenth that I think often gets overlooked, which is that the good word that was delivered, that we celebrate on that particular holiday, was delivered by a soldier to the people. And I just want to reinforce the connection and highlight the connection of our nation's military to the population, in spite of the fact that we're not, as members of the military, which I was for some time, sworn to this country or to its people. We're actually sworn to a piece of paper. But in pursuit of being under an oath of office to that piece of paper, it's to the benefit of this country and its people and all of the precepts within that piece of paper. And I just wanted to reinforce and highlight that aspect of the way that, from my perspective as a former soldier and current retired United States Army Infantry Airborne Ranger, am committed to still fulfilling that oath to that piece of paper, and hope that in doing so, this nation and its people benefit.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Thank you. Trustee Gutierrez.
Yes. I too attended the Northwest Municipal Conference, and I don't know why I was surprised at how well our mayor is received and known and just loved out there by so many people. That shouldn't surprise me at this point, right? But it still amazes me. So thank you for representing Hanover Park. Really appreciate that. And the meal was delicious too. So it had flowers, so it was lovely. I wanted to let you know that the Historic Committee is having a special meeting in July because we're working with CIDC. We've moved it because of a special event that's happening. Who can tell me about the special event?
Yes, tomorrow at 5:30 is Ride the Wave to Hanover Park.
Yes.
Very excited. It'll be in Ontarioville Plaza. It is to unveil our mural that was created by a Naperville artist. And then we will have a Japanese drumming group as well as a classical dance performance.
Yes.
And also Zen Ramen will be there
That's
selling
important.
food.
That's important, okay?
5:30 tomorrow?
So please show up at 5:30 because you guys, we canceled our historic committee meeting to be there. Plus we
Matter of
want,
history.
it's a matter of history. Plus we want some Zen. But no, I'm so excited about these programs that we bring to our community, and hopefully in the following years when we do these questionnaires, we can ask if people even attend those things, right? Also, June is Hispanic Heritage Month, and never more than now is it important to recognize the contributions of Latinos and Indian and Asian, just everybody that makes Hanover Park a special place and makes it that global village that we call home. And then I just wanted to say kudos to the Sister Cities Committee for another amazing Juneteenth event despite the heat. The Double Dutch ladies are always amazing. I would have passed out, but they left fearlessly. And also for the CIDC for helping out. And then finally, today's survey findings, has made it clear, as our trustee Albuck stated, that we need to do a little bit more tweaking in our communications, whether it's the mode or the dose, I don't know, but we need to assess that a little bit more. Unfortunately, what was meant to be a routine police activity, which is meant to grow our community, actually scared residents and caused many rumors that were falsely reported online. Changes in our communication is going to help stop these rumors on time and help our residents understand that we are here for them. So I'm hoping that in our strategic meetings, we can talk about how we're communicating, because my concern is if we don't communicate and communicate on time, misguided persons will communicate and they will misguide our residents. The posting that was put has been cleared, and others, I know that the area immigrant support groups will be reaching out to a certain individual that has got misguided a lot of this conversation. However, with that in mind, I want to share these with you. I feel like in school when we used to pass these out. These are immigrant rights, and the Partners for Our Communities has been canvassing Hanover Park during rain, during heat, letting folks know what their rights are in immigration, which are the rights that we all have under the Constitution, a right to not open the door, to remain silent, to speak with an attorney, to not sign anything, and it gives guidance, and folks can post this up on their windows, because due process has to be respected, no matter where we are at and who we are here. It also has a sample of what a judicial warrant is versus an administrative order. Now, you all know very well that people are being picked up with administrative orders or without orders. You know very well that people that are going to court following the rules are getting picked up, and there's no due process. They're not allowed their time before a judge. There's a lot of litigations going out there, but my fear is that our immigrants are in our town are being misguided by postings that have been very erroneous. So back in 2021 when we had the Trust Act on Facebook? I think you and I did it, Mayor, and Chief Minot. So I'm asking our chief as well if we could do something again like that. We could do a town hall, we could do hybrid, whatever way you want. And so the idea is to go back and reiterate, this is a Trust Act. We talked about this once. We're still doing the same thing. We're upholding it. And I think that's going to even help even more, especially now, calm fears, because last weekend really scared a lot of people. And our goal is just to educate the residents and let them know that we are still here for them, that they can call 911, that they can rely on our police department to serve and to protect. So I'm formally asking for the support of the board for that, so that we can do one. And Chief, you and I can talk if you want to do that hybrid on Zoom, however you want.
Are you referring to the Teams Together Our Community when we do that?
No, Chief Minot, myself, North Suburban Legal Aid Clinic met, and this is before I could practice immigration law. We had a lawyer who went over these are immigrant rights, this is what the Trust Act is. And then Chief Minot went over what the Trust Act is as well, and how we uphold that. And that's on Facebook still.
Yeah, it's still out there.
Yeah, it's still out there. But I think
Yeah,
bringing,
on Zoom. I didn't know whether
it
it was on Zoom.
was on Zoom
COVID?
because of COVID, but we can most definitely do it in person. As a matter of fact, we did it in Spanish and English that time. The mayor was here as well, and he spoke, and I think what that does, when it comes from the village, it helps squash all these rumors when it comes from the dais, to let people know what's really happening. That's the end of my report.
Chief, we've done this before. There's some wildcat comments out there, I'll call them, that don't know. I believe you, on your Facebook page, you've articulated, I hate Hanover Park being singled out where they're not the only community with you know, that ice is showing up. But to single Hanover Park out as what's happening, I don't think that's correct. And I don't know how to get around that. Because the week before this came out, they were all over Elk Grove. So, nobody's squawking there, but all of a sudden, why are we more vulnerable than anybody else? And I don't think the activity in Hanover Park is
I
any
thi-
greater than anywhere else.
I think you're right, but when there was activity, it was rather violent in nature, and so that has been an issue. And the other thing is, when we look at our census, how many people identify as immigrants here, that's why we're a little bit more vulnerable. But I think the best way to deal with this is to nip it in the bud coming from the dais, to let people know that, no, we have the Trust Act. Don't rely on that. Look at our Facebook page, our police department Facebook page, and follow that. So I think part of it is just the makeup of our residents as well. It's
Okay.
who we are.
Anything else?
No, that's the end.
Oh, you know I value your comments.
Thank
You do so much, such great work in the community.
I do think that the request of trustee Gutierrez, because I know trustee Bancole had a request to discuss a similar topic, is that the board determine in what format if it wishes to have, and a discussion in what format that would look like if it wishes to do that.
Is your mic on? You know, I'm borderline hearing.
So these are two things. Honestly, you can't do enough of this, honestly. The more I walk up there to let folks know, the more I realize that they don't know. So this would be a response from the Village of Hanover Park as an actual, did we call it a town hall?
Did we what?
Did we call it a town hall last time? What did we call it?
It was a special,
I think it was a special event.
was a special
Herb was
meeting.
involved.
With the board.
Where's Herb?
it was a special posted meeting though, I believe.
A special meeting? But it was just
There was,
mayor and I only. So I don't think it was. I felt like it was more like a town hall, but it had to be on Zoom because of COVID.
yeah, I think,
I don't remember.
But that's not the one that happened.
let's,
No,
let's
well,
look into
there
that.
was Know Your Immigrant Rights, the Trust Act, the Village of Hanover Park invites you to an educational virtual town hall.
Oh,
But
so it was a town hall. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm all about education and town halls. But what's going on now is a little different than then. You know, it seems to be more aggressive. I don't know what other word to use. But to have Hanover Park singled out, that's where I have an issue.
I think we were signaled out before too. I think we're just more, some of us knew about it, but I think the board is now more aware of it. But we were before, just because of who we are. I mean, because of our tagline, America's Global Village, I always signal us. But other towns are also dealing with the same thing. They don't have as much of an online presence, but they also don't have large immigration numbers. So I think that's why. And so I honestly feel that the best way is that's coming from here, and an honest conversation with our folks, our residents.
Well, thank you, Lisa. I think your work has been marvelous trying to manage through this and outreach in the
Not
community.
yet.
Trustee Porter.
So, just to clarify, were you looking for board approval?
Would you like to be next?
Well, I wanted to answer what.
So
trustee-
Well,
I
don't want
want,
to debate this. This
It's
is
not
her.
a debate, I'm just asking for clarification.
so I'm just asking for support from the board. I don't think there's a process for town halls, or if there's a policy that needs to be approved by the
Well,
board.
So I had sent out an email that just said, the board can decide to have a town hall event and hold that in the boardroom, whether it's virtual or in person or hybrid. And so I guess I would seek to find out whether the board as a whole wishes to do something, whether the whole board speaks or designates certain individuals to speak, or they can do that. And obviously, the chief and any other staff would, we would be happy to help with that discussion.
So at the last one, it was myself, the mayor, the chief, and
I think what she's saying is she's looking for.
an attorney, but yeah, whatever the board wants, and I'm gonna be really honest, like, we do these all month long. This is what I have to do on the side of practicing law. This is what I do. I go out to the community and I educate. I find myself in other boardrooms doing this, but not this one. I find myself in the school districts doing this, but not this one. So however the board wants it, but I do believe it has to happen.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes, please.
We're only a couple short weeks away from one of the biggest events in the village, the Cops Day Picnic, which is very well attended, across all, I would say, in my experience, across all, demographic groups of our community, very, very well attended. I think that we could do something in conjunction with that, where we record it so we can put it out on the internet, but then also, we've got a huge captive audience right there that it would really be helpful to get this message out. So I wonder if I could suggest maybe we do it in conjunction with Cops Day.
I like that idea.
So July 18th,
Yeah, I believe that's the date.
would that atmosphere allow for questions from the audience or that as a town hall style?
Sure, it could, yeah.
Where do you
So,
hold it?
isn't it more though a picnic? I mean, I
So
know,
loud.
atmosphere that
Where is the cops picnic
It's
being
in a-
held?
it's in a park.
At the Park District. Right. It's just a way to capture a large crowd.
So I like that idea. So several of Illinois Access to Justice team members will be there that day giving out this information. So we'll be doing it that way anyway. I think what I'm looking for more is for these people that are in fear to raise their hands and be assured that our police department will respond to your 911 call. That sort of thing.
So we've done the town hall, what was it, 21 or whatever? That was a wag.
So, Chief,
Yes.
just to clarify, so when you mentioned in conjunction with Cops Day, did you mean marketing the two events simultaneously to make sure our residents were aware of both? Is that what?
Sure, yeah, we would basically add it to the agenda and then push it out as much as possible between now and
But were
then.
you suggesting that we do it at the event?
Yes,
He was suggesting that we have
Oh, okay.
merged the two efforts together.
I think it would be
Okay.
pertinent, because we've done the other type, but now we need to demonstrate the value of our positions, and I think our Cops Day Picnic would be perfect.
I think what we're saying is that we would like the police department to have a role in whatever format goes forward, so that that message can be sent that we're not, that we're available, and please call the police, and don't be afraid. What that format is, I think the board needs to decide. We're happy to help you, again, but I need to understand whether the board as a whole wishes to do something, or is it going to be an individual, like as Trustee Gutierrez said, she's out there doing this already in other places. And I know that Trustee Bancole, you had said that you wanted to do something. So is it going to be a joint village town hall meeting, or is it going to be individual talking points?
So Trustee Kunkel, what were you mentioning? You said coffee,
Off the board?
coffee with the board?
Well, we used to do coffee with the board on Saturday mornings, years and years and years ago. It's basically a town hall meeting.
Huh,
Just a fancy name.
it's
It's
just a fancy name.
But it was on Saturday morning. We had
But is
coffee
there
and donuts.
coffee?
We had coffee
My
and
sense,
donuts.
if we do it at a Cops Day Picnic, it's pertinent to the those that attend from the village of Hanover Park.
And we will.
That should be our core,
Isn't,
And we will, we're gonna be doing that. The problem is it doesn't allow for a dialogue because it's so loud. It doesn't allow for people to come forth and ask and et cetera.
but
So
it's
you-
also a lighthearted,
It is. and
fun
this-
event.
I don't
that-
want to be discussing, forgive me, I don't want to be discussing deportation in front of children either.
well, a costume picnic, we're here for you, and I think,
But the subject here is their rights and how people are disappearing and how we don't have anything to do with that. We're just here to, and that's gonna come about, and I feel like children they're suffering enough in fear. We don't have to make a lighthearted, fun event scary for them with the subject matter. It is an adult subject matter.
So could I propose something? And just based off of the feedback that's been provided. Given what the chief mentioned about the amount of people that come to the picnic, I'm wondering if there's a way in which we could provide information, readily to-go information that could be disseminated at this event. And maybe at a separate event, we could have something similar to the coffee with the board, and the focal topic would be the current events. So maybe there's maybe just a combination of the two. Is that something that we could move forward with?
I think that when you discuss the Trust Act every year, you're gonna discuss it in lieu of the current events. So I think that you can't unmarry it. So I think that that's absolutely.
Well, I'm saying like two different, like a standalone event focused on the current ICE activity within the village and allowing for that dialogue, talking about our welcoming ordinance, things of that nature. But also knowing that we have one of the largest events coming up in the village, being able to also disseminate information at that event would also, I think,
About
also
the Trust Act, you mean?
well, just, I mean, even updates, I mean, things that we're doing,
Information
just yes, information sharing. I think that event is also an opportunity to provide information to the village, and there's gonna be so many people.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think that's gonna happen no matter what, right? The police department does that, we do that, Centro does that, Alianza does that. Oh my gosh, we all do it. Where these presentations were helpful was that people were actually saw the police chief, saw the mayor, and asked the questions. They weren't afraid to ask those questions, and we were very honest, and we had a legal expert in the room giving them the answers. We're not gonna give anybody legal advice. We're just saying this is what the law says. And I don't know that dialogue is available, but that doesn't mean that we can't promote it at that event, and that doesn't mean that we're not gonna talk about it at that event. But I feel that, like, I like that idea of coffee with the board,
Yeah, I do too.
especially if there's donuts.
Yeah, I do too. So,
all right, if you're including donuts, we're gonna get some.
So I will say that I am in favor of that.
You're a what?
I don't know, I'm in favor of that proposal. Having a standalone event, some sort of town hall standalone event in which we can have those from the board present, those from our PD.
Okay, I'd like to have
There are
some
other-
conversation with the police chief, and maybe not just one-on-one, but those of you that are interested, we could discuss what that looks like.
Yeah, but I think Juliana's looking for board, she's looking for whether or not we want to move forward with that as a board.
Yeah, I just don't want to be a megaphone to the world that says Hanover Park is doing something more than anybody else, meaning that we have a higher rate of ICE activity. I don't think we do. I don't want to be singled out in that manner, but if we do something for our residents.
This is not, we're not bringing this back to the ICE activity, and just, while still protecting my clients, I can tell you, yes, you have ICE activity. Okay, we've had clients that we had to bring back from New York because due process was not put in place. But that's not the important thing. The important thing is that 48% of the people living in Hanover Park identify as immigrant,
Identified as well.
and we want to talk to those people,
Okay.
regardless of whether ICE is here or not. They're the important people. It's not a megaphone to say Hanover Park is hit hard. No. Aurora, Elgin, Palatine, trust me, Palatine, oh my God, it's terrible. But what the message we're saying, it's not that we're getting hit hard, is that, hey, we're listening to you. We know who you are. We know you're hardworking people. We know that this is happening, but this is what our police department is doing. And this is the Trust Act. And when we're out there walking, we're building community. We're not chasing people like those posts. When we're out there, we're building community. And so it's not so much, I don't think you'll get that negative spotlight. I think what the spotlight you'll get is, no, this police department actually cares for its people and abides by the Trust Act and the way forward.
So it can be a localized thing, like a coffee or something.
Yeah,
Okay.
however you want. I just think it's
I
time we
just-
have a conversation.
If we're focused on Hanover Park, fine.
Yeah, focus on our residents.
Yeah.
What's going on in the community, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, other
I'm-
towns are doing their own thing.
All right.
So I'm in favor of that.
Okay. Is anybody else concerned, or are you guys like a coffee with the board thing, or
Oh, one coffee with the board? You bet.
as long as there's donuts?
Oh,
Okay.
no, it's a little bit for you.
Donuts only for me, all right? You're good?
I got it. I get it.
Juliana, you have,
I'm hearing an openness to do this. My suggestion would be coming back to you with some suggestions on dates, times, locations, et cetera.
Sounds good.
I'm in favor
Okay.
of that, Juliana.
I just want to say right now that I am not in favor that this takes place in the police department for obvious reasons.
Got it.
Yeah, I don't want them to get the
Say it
wrong
again.
idea.
You're not in favor of what?
This happening in the police department, although I'm not going to lie, I like that space better.
Uh-huh.
Maybe we should use
It
that
is.
as the dais, but I think people will get the wrong idea if we do it over there.
I'm not too sure.
If you host a Know Your Rights event at a police department, it will affect attendance. Thank you.
Okay, got it. But that was the point.
Yes, sir.
All right. We'll do it on your cul-de-sac.
Come on, as long as there's donuts and coffee.
We'll figure it out. Juliana's coming back with some suggestions that I believe the board has spoken to. Okay, thank you. Little robust conversation, which is always good. We have Trustee Porter.
Thank you, Eric. I want to start off by thanking everyone for a very successful, in my opinion, Juneteenth event. It was unbearably hot. I think that we lost about 4 or more tents to the high wind, which was a blessing in disguise because the high wind brought some relief from the heat. But as soon as people's tents were destroyed, they packed up and left because they couldn't sit out in the heat. So,
All right, so I was waiting in line to go parasailing,
Yeah.
so that wasn't what that was?
well, although if you had held on to one of those tents, you might have. You know, and it made me think about, we had entertained having jumpy houses, which there would have been no way we could have had jumpy houses or anything, or we'd have been launching children, you know, all over the ball field, which some parents might have been okay with, but it was a great event. We had a great time. The food was excellent. I want to give a real special shout out, however, to TJ and his crew of Public Works. They had their hands full because they had to provide sandbags to hold down those tents, and they ran out of sandbags, and somehow they went and scoured up additional sandbags to hold down the tents, and still the tents were not blowing away, but they were tearing up because the wind was just simply getting the canopies and literally ripping the metal bars of the tents and just cracking the bars and ripping them up. And we're just very fortunate that no one was injured or hurt doing that. But his guys stayed till the very end. TJ was there for the majority of that event, and they were just there to see to our every need. I mean, they were so attentive, and sir, I am so appreciative of the effort that you and your crew put forward. It wouldn't have happened without that support, that extra effort. You went the extra mile, and I just want you to know on behalf of the Sister Cities Committee, we are very, very grateful for your dedication and for your service. In like manner, our police department was also there. Officer Shahad that was there. Shahad was there. Amy, who's our partner in everything, was there. Officer DeVito and other members of the police department were there. And I felt so sorry for them because they had on those vests and full gear and everything. I said, you guys got to be burning out. And they're like, you don't even know. But they were real troopers, no pun intended. But they really were there with us and provided that measure of safety, because in this environment that we're in now, when public officials are being attacked and when elected officials are being attacked, and when there is violence at gatherings and so forth, it just gives you a sense of security to know that the police department were there, and their presence was very innocuous. It wasn't overbearing or anything, but we knew they were there, and we all felt safe knowing that they were there. So just thank you, sir, for the police department and for their assistance. The village staff was there. Courtney and her crew were all there, and we just really appreciate you, Madam Director, for just providing that additional service and being there and coming out. And it means a lot when members from the administration and from the staff come out to these events. We know it's your weekend, you've got families and you've got other things that you're doing, but when you show up at one of our events, we really appreciate it. So thank you so much for making your presence known and coming out and just showing that assistance. The Hanover Township, I don't know if we mentioned them, but they come out and they help with traffic control, just very, very helpful. That's a hard intersection to navigate there at Sycamore and Barrington, especially if you're coming eastbound on Sycamore or going southbound on Barrington. That's not an easy entrance to make, and we really appreciate having the Hanover Township people there to provide service. Our fire department was also there and performed a rescue. Early on in the event, someone succumbed to the heat and had to be taken by ambulance to receive medical treatment. And the fire department was there, Johnny on the spot, to give assistance to the individual who had succumbed to the heat. And didn't receive any reports, but I'm assuming that they were, in fine condition after receiving from heat exhaustion, is what it sounded like. And that was, thankfully, that was our only instance where we had someone needed that type of treatment. So thank you, Chief, for the fire department. They're always there to assist. And it's really a group effort. I mean, it makes me feel so satisfied and so honored to be a part of this village when I see all of these different departments and from all these different areas coming together for the Sister Cities Committee. We're not a big committee, and we do this, but when I see the level of participation from all of the different departments, it just really makes me feel good to be a part of this community. CIDC, without your help, they're always there faithfully with food distribution, ticket sales, whatever we ask, they're always, well, what can we do to help? What can we do to help? And so, that is also very much appreciated. So it's our signature event. We do Black History Month, but Juneteenth is our signature outdoor event. And I think, when we rank it, we have the Cops Day, we have the soiree, we have the tree lighting, and then we have Juneteenth. So I kind of, give it that kind of ranking. So it's an important event in our village, and I'm honored to be a part of putting that on. Thank you, John. You serve as our liaison. Your wisdom and advice and leadership in our meetings is very much appreciated, sir. We thank you. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. I just want to mention to Trustee Albeck that, yes, we are aware that General Granger was a soldier, and he delivered that message on June 19th, 1865 in Galveston, Texas. And to our servicemen who take the oath, I think it's very important, even at this time as we find ourselves now in a state of war, that we honor our servicemen and those who've taken the oath of service, because they are the ones who may ultimately pay the ultimate sacrifice, and they do so without fear or fear of harm. And we really appreciate the soldiers. So but yeah, we're very grateful for General Granger. During the presentation, it was mentioned about communications, and I was listening to the conversation from my colleague Gutierrez concerning the reports of ICE activity and Proud Boys and some of the misinformation. And I think one of the battlefronts that we're going to have to face now, and that we're going to need to be prepared to face in our public relations, in our communication, is misinformation, is bad information. I think that is the new front. So even as important as getting out good information is, how do we respond to bad information? How do we respond to misinformation, whether it be social media, whether it be person to person? That is going to be a challenge, I think, for all of our communities moving forward. And I think it's part of our strategic plan. And as we look into communications, we need to develop a plan for how do we combat and how do we come against misinformation and bad information. We need to develop, I think, a rapid response type of team, that when this type of information is found to be out there, that we can get in front of it very quickly, and that we can turn the narrative around and give people correct information. But I think that's the new battlefront that our communities and villages are going to be facing, is misinformation and bad information. Social media has opened that door. There are no gates on what you can publish on social media. There's no monitoring. It's like the Wild West on social media, and people can put things out there. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people that believe, well, if it's on the internet, it must be true, and we laugh about that, but that is a reality, that some, people say, well, I saw it on the internet, therefore it's got to be true. So as we go into strategic planning, I'd like for us to consider some type of rapid response mechanism, so that when this stuff is out there, we can get on top of it and can get in front of it. I also had written down in my notes before it came up that, yeah, we used to have coffee with the board. We did that, and we discontinued it because it was a rousing failure. People were not showing up. We called staff in that would give up a day of their Saturdays, sit there in the room, and we'd have 4 residents, the same ones, would show up at each meeting. And, we've got staff members who, take time from their families and from their own personal activities, and they're sitting in these rooms to be available to our residents to answer questions and to be responsive and to do those things, and nobody ever showed up. And that's why we canceled Coffee with the Board. And quite frankly, I don't see anything that's changed that would make me think that that's going to be any more successful now than it was in the past. I do think that, however, with technology, doing a hybrid Zoom type of meeting in a neutral location might be a better alternative to communicating to our residents, but I'm not in favor of a coffee with the board just from past history. It just didn't work, and I don't see an appetite from our residents to show up and to do that. To do that. And finally, I am in favor of coffee with the board. Yeah, in general. I just don't think coffee with the board is going to give us the results that we want. Unless we're going to do something different where we're not calling in all the staff members, all the directors to come in and sit in a meeting. If we're doing a coffee with the board, then let's just call it a town hall and promote it as that, as a town hall, and do something of that, but not to revive coffee with the board.
I think that's a component of our discussion on the strategic plan.
Yeah. And finally, I'll just say that I think it's a good idea to promote whatever we're going to do, to have it ready to go to promote it at Cops Day Picnic. I don't know if that's the place we have that discussion, but I think it's an excellent opportunity because of the high attendance to pass out flyers or whatever promoting the event and letting people know when it's going to happen and where it's going to happen. I think that might be, the best way forward to do that. So I'm all in favor of promoting it. Although I don't think that there's any harm to the chief stating the positive nature of the police involvement with our community, and that the police department encourages our community to not shy away from contacting, communicating, reporting, and being involved with our police department. I think they do that, and that's one of the reasons why we do Cops Day Picnic, is to promote that interaction between the community and the police department. A lot of communities, they do nights, Cops Night Out or Night Out, and there was some years ago when Hanover Park decided that we would not do Cops Night Out, which is, or I forget the
National Night Out.
National Night Out, yeah, not Cops Night Out. National Night Out. We decided that we would detour from that and do our Cops Day Picnic, which I think was a great decision, and I wholly support that. And I think that the reason was to promote the community and the police department having positive interactions. And I think that has been the result of those meetings, those picnics that we have. It's highly, highly attended. As Chief mentioned, all demographics, young, old, every ethnic group in the village, they turn out. It's a fun day, and I'd like to keep it as a fun day for our community and for our residents. But it's also a day of information, and so I'd like to share that information, but at an appropriate level, so that we don't delve into details. To my colleague Gutierrez, who stated that, children are there and we just have to be sensitive to, what we say and do around children, because they are so perceptive. I have to be careful even at home when I'm watching my grandson and I have on the news and, something comes up and it's, they were mentioning elected officials that were assassinated and were shot. And I'm watching it on the news, and he's over playing Minecraft or something on his iPad, and I don't think he's paying any attention. And he comes to me later and says, Papa, he says, he calls me Grandpa now. He says, Grandpa, so you're an elected official. Does that mean you're going to get shot? And I'm like, where did he, but he's hearing that. So we have to be careful, about what our kids are exposed to. And I would hate to turn Cops Day Picnic into anything but a fun, festive afternoon for our community and for their appreciation of our police department
And building that relationship.
and building it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well said, Herb. Trustee Kunkel?
Thank you, Mayor. I have some good news. There was a 12-year-old kid in Hannibal Park, he's a Hannibal Park resident, his name is Eli Jankowski. He won the Chicago Master Model Builders title in Legos. He made an amazing diorama.
Yeah.
Made an amazing diorama of Chicago, different places in Chicago, and he won. I think it was up to 18 years old was his group, and he won the whole contest.
Yeah.
And he's from Hannibal Park,
Yeah.
so kudos to him. I don't know if you're watching, but kudos to you. Let's see.
We can invite him to a board meeting.
Sure.
You know, you can have the mayor dance.
Okay.
Supposed to have won.
We could have the hula dances here too. Let's see, airport noise complaints. We had 533 complaints from one resident in town in the month, of last month. That's April. That's more than what we've had the last 5 previous years total in complaints about noise in the village. So
Are they going right over his house?
there's not even that many planes that fly at that time of night. So I'm not sure where those numbers, why he's calling. Maybe it's the birds, I don't know. Yeah, we had one complaint, it's in the northwest of Hanover Park. The month before that, we had like less than 77. Let's see, Boys and Girls Club, I'm meeting with them tomorrow morning at 9. They're looking at putting a Boys and Girls Club here in Hanover Park. I'm not sure what the discussion's all about, but I will find out tomorrow. The POC, they could really use some clothes. They do not operate like the Goodwill where they resell it. They actually get it and they give it back to the people that are in need. Some of the things they really need are socks, underwear, t-shirts, that's for boys, girls, women, and men. They could use jackets. You know, it's summertime, so hopefully you put your jackets up, and by next year you'll think, that's old season, so you'll get a new one. They could use some clothes, especially for men. And that's all my report.
Thank you. That, I was gonna say that concludes the reports, but Trustee Ben Cooley, please.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. A couple weeks ago, I was able to attend DuPage County's Regional Outlook, where those that presented were able to talk about business in the county, and were able to report that DuPage County is amongst one of the top in the nations for our schools. We're a great place to do business. We're one of the best in the state. And so it was a pretty positive outlook as it relates to the county. As Trustee Raffolino mentioned, I was able to attend the apiary event. That was my last event as a board liaison, and it was well attended. It's our signature event, and we're always so grateful when the residents come out and taste honey and learn more about bees, and it's just a great event. So thank you to all the residents that came out, and again, a special thank you to John Stell, Public Works, and all those that worked to make that event a success. In addition to our Juneteenth event, which again, special thank you to Trustee Kunkel, Trustee Porter, our Sister Cities Committee. It was an excellent event. I was also able to attend Bloomingdale. They are now, Bloomingdale's Juneteenth event, they're now in their second year of the Juneteenth event, and it's not their village that puts it on, it's a state representative that puts the event on, and that was also a really, really moving event. The report that we just got earlier tonight as it relates to the community survey, I found the information, so I know a lot of time and effort went into that survey. I'm grateful that it was shared with the board. I did find the presentation to be a bit frustrating at times. I think it would be helpful in the future if there's an avenue in which our questions, even if the presenter isn't aware of what the right answer is at that exact time, if there's an avenue in which our questions could be answered at a later date, I think that would be helpful. I think that we want to be able to address the issues that were raised, and there were several instances in which the response to, well, why did this happen, or why, what's going on there, the response that we received as a board was, I don't know. And I'm not quite sure how to fix I don't know. And so I think it would be helpful. I know there's future interactions that we have with this particular university, so it would just be helpful if there was just a little bit more information about not only just highlighting what the issues are, but more information about the questions that were asked so that we can better prepare and we can better address the issues that are presented to us. Last but not least, I want to thank Trustee Gutierrez for bringing up the Know Your Rights, the Illinois Trust Act. I know it was mentioned that, coffees with the board weren't maybe a successful event in the past. I personally don't have a preference as to what we call the event. I just am adamant that an event needs to take place. The level of ICE activity in the past few weeks in this town has been shocking. And it's been, it's like nothing I have ever seen. The videos that have come out from some of these stops are so horrifying. They're so dehumanizing. And I really do believe that this is, should be treated as an emergency. To Trustee Porter's point, misinformation spreads fast, and so we should always find ways in which we can combat misinformation. And I'm grateful for the information that's already been put out. But a way to combat that misinformation is education, and that doesn't come if we don't have an event, if we don't have a community conversation. And so I strongly believe that a community conversation on this particular matter should occur. I don't particularly care about the format. I just think it should occur, and that our residents should hear from their board that passed in a welcoming ordinance that says that, we welcome you no matter where you come from. Should hear from our, police department that's doing incredible work to keep our residents safe, and should hear about, their community policing efforts, their ongoing efforts, or even just partner community organizations or trusted voices. I think all of these things are really important to have in this moment in time, because what we are seeing is horrifying. And so I don't think that by just talking about the issue that's happening, we are in any way, putting a spotlight on our back. We're providing more important information to our residents who are scared and concerned and want to know what's going on. And so I really do hope, I hear Trustee Porter, but I really do hope that we can move forward as a board and hold an event in which we are providing this information to our residents. And I'll stop there. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. I like the fact that Juliana's gonna come back with some suggestions and alternatives, to whatever. Good motion to go to executive session.
So moved.
Second?
It's
For
under
2C1.
2C1, employment and compensation of a specific.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
What is it, 2C what?
Are we returning after?
2C11?
No,
We will not be.
we will not be returning. Trustee Bartolino,
Yes.
trustee Albuck,
Yes.
trustee Gutierrez,
Yes.
trustee Porter. Trustee Porter,
Yes.
trustee Kunkel,
Yes.
and trustee Van Cole.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right. Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.